Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I will going to explain about that how we are going to secure our Spring Boot applications using Spring Security. Okay, and with that JWT authentication and authorization. So that actually I'm going to explain to that how we are going to add security perspective into the in our existing applications like authentication and the authorizations. So JWT we are going to use for this one. So in my last tutorial I've already explained this movie ticket booking system with the Spring Boot, and today I'm going to add the security. Some of few of the members are requested to add the security for this project, so I'm going to add this Spring Boot security over for this project. So before going to the add the securities and all the kind of things, first we need to understand that how we are going to implement JWT authentication and authorization in a Spring Boot 3 applications using Spring Boot 6. So here I am going to explain means going to use the Spring Boot version, that is the latest version 3.3.0. okay, and with Spring Boot 6. So before that I am going to explain that the basic about the JWT. So JWT means it's a JSON Web Token, is a compact self-contained means of representing claims to be transferred between two parties securely in the context of authentication and authorization. So JWT is basically used to authenticate user and grant access to resource or the services. So authentication means, so JWT can be used for authentication by issuing a token to a user once they will do the successfully login. Means once we are trying to log in with some user, then we need to pass username and password. So once those username and password are valid, then JWT issuing one's token and return in the response of the login. So this is the purpose of the pass of the authentication. Now if we talked about the authorization, so authorization basically allow the server to determine what is user basically allowed to access. Okay, so there is a maybe lot of services or maybe APIs over there. So what basically APIs that can user can access and what particular APIs admin can access, so those kind of things also we can determine based on this authorization. So this is called the authorizations. Okay, so next we are going to implement the JWT implementation for securing our applications. So before going to the implementations, like for enabling the JWT token and the Spring security, we need to add few annotations in the POM file. So what are those annotation? One annotation is the Spring Boot starter security that we are going to add over here. So here, let me add this one. So here basically this Spring Boot starter security, this one basically we are going to add over here. And as we are going to use this JSON Web Token means JWT, so for enabling this JWT having different types of means enabling, we need to add few dependencies related to the JWT. So let me add those things over here. Okay, so these are the three dependencies: JWT API, JWT IMPL, JWT Jackson. These three dependencies basically we need to add to enable the JWT for using the JWT in a security perspective into our Spring Boot applications. Okay, so next basically we are going to write the code for this one. Like we need to do some kind of configurations so that we can enable those security and authorization and the authentication into our Spring Boot applications. Okay, so let's write the configuration for those things. And also if something required, like previously I explained, basically we are going to store the user information into the user tables, but also if we are going to implement the authorization and the login kind of thing, then also we need to create some fields into the user table like password and the roles. So that also I have created, so that I'll show you. Okay, so before that also we need to add the those fields into the user entities. Okay, so now let's create the first, update the entities, and then we will write the configuration. So here we can find the user entity over here, and we can add two fields. One is the for password and another one for the like roles. Okay, so these two fields we need required for like do the logins and for accessing the APIs based on the what roles particular user is having. Based on that we can access those things. Okay, so now we will create, like we need to create the configurations classes and respective implementation of the JWT. So for that let me create one package over here, like let's say it's a movie.config kind of things, so which will basically responsible to storing all the configuration related things. So first of all I need to create one class where basically we need to put all the security configuration related things. Okay, and also we will put the details like which API basically in which role we need to access or we can able to access. Okay, so this class should be annotated with the configuration, and then we can annotate this class enable web security for enable web security. Okay, and another method is there enable, like I'll show you like what is the why we are adding this enable method security basically, that I will show you. Okay, so this annotation basically we required. Next what we are going to do here, basically we need to create the beans of user detail service that basically uh, what it will do, it will basically give the user details from the user repository, and it will basically fetch the user details from the like database. Okay, and so let me create this class first, something like that. Okay, so what it will do basically, okay, let me open this one, and it will be written as optional. Okay, okay, so what it will do basically, it will load the username based on the like username basically. Okay, so here the username means it's a like here if you see the user details table, so here is the like uh, the thing is that like it will basically take the email ID as a unique one. Okay, so if you see over here we are having this email ID fields over here, and this is will be treated as a username. Okay, and this is the like roles and this is the password. These two fields we have added over here. So now once we are getting these details, then we need to map these details into one DTO. So we need to create one DTO, let's say user details, user info details service. Okay, so let me create this DTO, user info user details. Okay, and this DTO basically having 2 3 fields, it will basically implements the user detail. Okay, implements user details, this one, and this will coming from the spring framework dot security dot user details. So this is from the user security, user means spring framework security. So this is coming. So once we'll get this, then we need to implement some methods like the authorities, what is the authorities, password and the username. Okay, so for that we need to create some fields over here. Okay, like username, name, passwords and authorities. Okay, okay, so these are the fields we need to create over here, this name, password and the authorities. So in the like we need to create one constructor over here. So the purpose of this constructor basically user arrays. Okay, so this will take this user details. Okay, and here we can take the email IDs as a name, password, and here the authorities means the roles. Okay, so the roles will be comma separated, so one single user can have the multiple roles. So based on that it will split it and storing over here in the list of granted authorities, means once we will search that particular user. So those user, what kind of authorities they are having. So based on that we can decide that this particular user what responsibilities is having basically. Okay, so now we need to, instead of null, we can return these values. Okay, so this is now done. Okay, okay, user info is fine. Okay, so this is done now. So why, what we're doing here means, in the constructor basically we need to pass this user information, and from this user information it will basically fetch the email IDs, password and the authorities. Okay, and then so based on this we are returning those details. We will get the details, authorities, username and the password. So once we are having these details, then here it will be automatically, it will once the load by username, so based on these details it will get the data and mapping those details over here. So in the finally we will get the user details in the return. Okay, so now in the security configurations basically here we are going to create the one bin of user details. Okay, we are going to create this bin, and once this bin is over here, so this bin it will be injected. Okay, next we need to create one bin for HTTP, means for the filter one, security filter. Okay, this one, this security filter chain, and it will take one input like HTTP security. So what we'll do over here, like it will return HTTP dot, first of all we need to disable the CSRF. Okay, C dot disabled. Okay, then next we need to do the authorize request. Okay, like what request basically we need to authorized. Okay, authorized HTTP request. Okay, so request dot, okay, request dot request matchers. So it will basically match with the like path of the URL. Okay, so what basically we are going to allow before authenticate, means before login, what API we are going to like we need to allow without token. Okay, so in the user controller we are having one method, this add new. So this will be basically register the user. So means registration, until or unless the registration cannot be done, the user cannot be able to log into the system, right? So we need to allow the user to access this API without any access token, without any security. So that's why, so if like the path will be match with this like slash users dot dot this. If you see the user controller, the path is this slash user. Okay, so this we are mentioning over here. If any URL with match with this, then we need to like we need to permit, we need to allow this one, allow this one. Okay, next we need to put the another path. Okay, let's say the movie. So this movie controller, what is the purpose of this movie controller? This movie controller basically it will add the movies into the system. So that means this particular things will be done by the, obviously after login, means once the login is not done, then they are not able to add the movies into the system, and also this particular feature will be accessed by the admin. So here we are going to put the like authorities. That means only admin has the authority to access this API. So here we are going to add this controller path, basically API path, and then has authorities role underscore admin, has authorities role underscore admin. Okay, so that means this movie is basically only accessed by the who is having the authority, role underscore admins. Okay, next we are going to add the security for the shows. Like show is another like controller, which is the API path is the slash shows. These are also only applicable by the admin. So here also we are going to add another API request mapping for show also. Okay, and it also having the authorities for the like admin. Next one is the theater. So theater is also similar kind of things, and for the theater basically is having the slash theater, and this is also accessible for the only admin. Okay, and next is the like ticket. So this ticket controller basically it will be only accessible by the like user can access this ticket, right? So for this we need to define this ticket basically can access by the only user. So this is having the role user. So once this is done, then we need to write this any request dot authenticated, means those are should be authenticated. Okay, after that here we can mention that session management, and it will be a like session creation policy, dot stateless, means we are not maintaining any state over here. And after that we are going to provide the authentication provider. Okay, so here basically we need to provide the authentication provider, not manager, authentication provider. Okay, authentication provider, and this provider basically will be we need to create one bean for this authentication provider, and it will be a DAO authentication provider, right? So we need to create one bean for authentication provider, and this will be the authentication provider. Like here the DAO authentication provider we are going to use over, and here also we need to pass this user details service. This is the bean of this one, and also we need to create the one password uh, encoder. Okay, this is also we need to create another bean, that password encoder. Okay, okay, and next what we need to do, we need to like so here will be we can add this authenticate provider over here. Okay, and next we need to add the filter. Okay, filter before means once the request will come, then before coming to the anything, it will basically we need to apply one filter over here, filter before. So here basically we need to uh, like write one filter over here, means JWT filter we need to write. So that I will write next, and then here we need to what kind of filter, basically user password authentication filter. Okay, user password authentication filter, and this will come from here. This is the class web dot authentication dot username password authentication filter, and after that we need to like create the build. Okay, then it will okay session creation policy import. Okay, okay, only we need to write this auth filter. Okay, so we need to write one JWT auth filter basically, and the responsibility of this auth filter will do the filter kind of thing. So let me write this filter first. So here we are going to create another class like JWT auth filter. Okay, okay, so this particular class will extend one filter basically, that is called the once per request filter. Okay, okay, so for that basically you need to implement this one, do internal filter, do filter internal. So it will taking this parameter request, response, and the filter chain. Okay, so what we will do, we will means whatever the request will coming from the any postman or whatever the way, so they need to add the details into the authorization header. Okay, in the token. So how we are going to get this token, we are going to get this token based on the authorization. This is the header. Okay, then we need to check this that authorization header should be not null, and authorization header should be start with BRR token. This token will be a BRR token. If so, then we need to take the username from the like authorization header. Now here we need to write some condition over here like this: if not equals to null and if this header start with this bearer, then we are extracting the token from the authorization header. Okay, and then we need to write some services which will basically extract the username, means all the related operations will be do. So that is called the JWT service we need to write over here. Okay, so I can write this JWT service. So let me create another class JWT service. Okay, so this service we need to create over here, and what we will do, we need to write all the related methods related to the like JWT and all, and this service we can annotate with the service annotation, as this will be represented as a service class. Okay, so here we can create one method which will basically do the extract the username. Okay, and these claims will come from this JSON web token, this token. Okay, this extract claim also we need to create over here, and here you can see this extract claim. Okay, this function we need to import over here. Extract all claim means a related method we need to create over here. Okay, then this get sign key, token expire, and all the methods we need to create over here. Okay, tilde maps, tilde date, security dot key. This secret basically we need to create and we need to add over here. Okay, okay, this method also need to add extract expiration. Okay, so this is done now, means JWT service here we are going to create this extract username, then extract claim, all claim is token expire or not, extract the expiration. It will basically what it will do, it will whatever the token we need to pass from the header, so it will basically check the token validity. It will basically for generating the token we need to pass this username, and it will create the token based on while we are going to create that token. It will basically set the claims, then subject, then issuer at, expiration, what is the key. So here I'm going to use this base 64 hmac 256 h, you can see that 256 character. Okay, this is the like the sign in key. Okay, this is the sign in key and this is the algorithm 256, this is the algorithm. These are the basically that service class contents, and this service class basically we need to import over here, means we need to inject over here this auto where. Okay, and private, then like JWT service, this one. Okay, we need to inject over here. So based on this service we need to call this method and we need to pass this token, and from here it will basically extract the all the things like username, and based on parsing it will basically give us the data. So now once this is done, then we need to check that this username should be not equals to null. Okay, and security context holder get context get authentication if it is null. These two scenarios, what we will do, we will fetch the data based on the username, right? This user detail service we need to inject over here, user detail service that we have already created. Okay, and here based on this we can get load the username, it will return this user details, and this user details coming from this security code. Okay, after getting the details we need to check that if that token, whatever the token basically passed from over here, if it is valid or not. If it is valid, then we need to set the auth token like under this over here. Okay, like we need to create one auth token like that username password. Let me show you over here. This is the username password authentication token. It will give us this authenticate token. Here we are going to pass this user details and the authorities, and here we are going to this auth token we need to set the details and under the security context also we need to set the details of this one. Okay, like this, auth token dot set details, like web authentication details source, build details, this request, and here security context holder, here we are setting the authentication, this is the auth token. Okay, and finally we need to do one filter over here, means after all the things here. Okay, so this is all about this filter, JWT filter, and here we need to inject this filter in the security config. Okay, we need to use this JWT auth filter here. Okay, so this is also done. Now hopefully all things I have covered over here. So next we need to, in the under this user controller, we need to write the login things. Okay, because for the get the access token API we need to create over here, and for that we need to create the one API over here. This will be the post request. Okay, authentication we need to use over here, and this authentication package will come from security dot authentication, this one. Okay, this authentication we need to use over here, and this authentication manager we need to inject over here. Okay, authentication manager, this authentication manager we need to add over here. This authentic manager also coming from this security dot authentication. Okay, and also we need to use this JWT service over here. Okay, we need to create this JWT service, auto over private JWT service. Okay, and we need to create one request like this auth request. Okay, so let me add this over here, auth request. Okay, so this token basically what it will do, it will basically validate that username and password is correct or not. If username is correct, then it will give a return as the like generate token. It will give us the one token, and this token basically it will consist of username, password, expiration date, and what kind of algorithm we used. So those are the things. So implementation wise done. So in the security configurations also we need to add one more things over here. Even it is not just trying to means I'm clearing the things that uh, under this user controller basically there is a two API. One is the add new and the get token. This both API will be should allow before the generating the access, right? Because under this will add the user into the database and this will generate the token. So both cases it should work fine without any authentication. So that's why we have added this request method and we are allowing them to access before generating the token. That's why it's a permit all is required over here. Okay, so this is the overall thing. Next I'm going to start this application. Let's see, start the application so that we can access from the Postman. I will show you, I will give you the demonstrations for this one. Okay, once it will start, then we can access from the Postman. It will not take much time. Okay, second level cache. Okay, it is not started. What it is saying, error starting application to display the condition evaluation report with debug. Okay, it's saying that configurations auth filter that could not be found. Security required bin of type this. Okay, let me check JWT auth filter. Okay, this JWT auth filter basically we should annotate because it is Spring without any annotations, it means it is not able to create it as a bin, so that's why it's causing issues. Okay, so once we need to annotate this class with the component, then it will be treated it as a like a Spring Boot bean, so that it will be registered into the Spring Boot context. Okay, so now it should run. Okay, Tomcat initialize with port 8080, processing this MySQL dialect. This is the version of this. Okay, okay, authentication. Okay, authentication manager. Actually, in the security configurations, we have used this authentication manager, but we have not created the bean of this authentication manager, right? So we need to create the one bean for this authentication manager, else it will give us the, because it is also not able to inject. Okay, so this authentication manager we need to create over here. Okay, now it will basically it should start. So before I've already explained about the movie ticket booking system in my last tutorial, and here I'm going to implement the security kind of things like enabling the JWT token and authorization and authentications. And please follow my last tutorial for understanding the movie ticket booking system. It is actually top of that video. Okay, so you guys can get the better idea, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Okay, so now you can see now it's started. Okay, so now basically we are going to create one user. So this is the postman. From postman we can see the details. Okay, so for add the user, basically let me create one user, uh, like test, for example test 3. Okay, and let's say it's a admin user. Test 3 is the admin user. Okay, and here we are going to c.email because it's a unique. Test 3. So we are adding this new user into the database. Okay, it's say that user already exists. Email ID this, let me check. Username, filter. Okay, here actually I need to uh, use some this optional, because you know like that find of is returning the optional, so that's why it's getting this one. So I need to refactor this one as local variable. Okay, instead of that we can say users. Users, and if user, we can say instead of this is present. If it is present, then only we can say is user is exist, else no. Okay, so let it like restart this application, then we can again check. Okay, it started, and we can check. Yeah, we can say that user saved is successfully now. Okay, now here we can see that this user is set over here, and also like we need to set this roles and the like password, right? So for that we need to here in this DTO, basically we need to set something, right? So here basically we need to pass uh, one thing, dot set password. So here basically we are going to default says the password, and this password basically we can send over here. Like we need to, for that we need to use one password encoder over here, right? Because we are using the password encoder, and here we are going to pass this password encoder. Okay, and here we are going to add this one password. Okay, and we are setting this password over here. And another things we need to set the roles is coming as a request. Okay, so that role also we need to set over here. Okay, in a request we need to set the roles. Okay, here. Okay, so then we will get the details over here and this. Okay, now we can run and then check. Meanwhile we can delete this data. Okay, okay, it started now. Now let me try to call this one. So user saved successfully now. Now let me refresh. So now you can see that test3 is added successfully. This is the admin user and this is the password. Okay, so now what else we can try now? So now we can try to, this is the admin user basically, right? So now this, if we try to book ticket with this particular user, then it will should not allow, right? Because okay, first of all we need to generate this token with this username. So here the username is C and we are generating the token, so it will give us this token. Okay, so this is the token, and now if we try to book the ticket with this token, so how we are going to pass this token? This will be the BRR token, and here we are going to pass this token. Okay, this will be the BRR token. We can choose from over here that this is the BRR token, and then we need to pass the token over here. In a body basically we need to like give these details, that is fine. So now if we try this one, let me clear the console. So then it will give us the, means we are expecting 4003 forbidden. That means we are not able to access this one. So for accessing this service basically we need to generate the token with the any user. So the user role is, this is the user role that already I have created. Okay, so this is like b@gmail.com. So now we need to create the, like this is the, means we need to create the token with this b user. Okay, and then if we try to access, means we need to update the token over here. Okay, and now if we try to do, then we can say like the requested seat are not available, means it's able to access the API but means already seats are booked, so that's why it's not able to access, means not able to book the ticket. So now let me try with the some available seat. Then you can see the book ticket books are available, means we can able to successfully book the ticket with this user token. So I hope it's clear, right? Means if any API basically that is not able to the admin, so then admin, if we generate the token the with admin, so those are the not able to their access. Only the user, if any API we have mentioned that will be accessed through the user only, then only if we need to generate the token with the user role, and then we can access that particular API. And in similar fashion we can also able to get the all the APIs based on the roles. And if we want to decrypt this token, then we can get the details from over here. Let me show you. Means basically we need to open the JWT site, jwt.io, and here you can see there is a encoded part we need to give over here. Okay, you can delete and you can paste this one, and you can see this is the algorithm H256. Okay, this is the algorithm. This is the algorithm. This is the subject payload data. This is the subject left and this is the expiration. Okay, and this is the signature. Okay, so in this way basically we can get the details, and also you can like uh, what you can say, we can decode this token, and we can also able to integrate that security kind of thing into our existing application. uh, this is all about the this, like how we are going to secure our applications using Spring Boot security, Spring Security with JWT. If you guys have anything, please do let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Please press on the bell icon for further notification. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.